That's it.
Are we live? Are we?
What?
Are we
Oh, yeah.
hey.
Oh, it says up there in the corner. Yeah, we're live. Oh my gosh. Hello, everybody. Good morning.
Looks a little bit different in here, but hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Business Building Book Club. I'm Molly. We've got Mark. We got Lefty. We are talking about the brilliance that is Gary Vaynerchuk, and we're looking back in time at one of his best books, in my opinion, Jab, 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 Right Hook. And we are looking specifically this week at the chapter that was based around storytelling on Facebook, because we're all on Facebook. Hello to our Facebook audiences. Hello to our YouTube audiences as well. But we really wanted to dive into this chapter because, as we've been discussing in the book, so much of this information, even though it's 10 years old, at its foundation is still relevant to what we do as marketers online today. But there's a lot. We have feelings, we have emotions, and we got opinions about this chapter. So
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Before we dive into it, though, I gotta welcome my team. How are you, Mark? How you doing?
I am doing great today, and I got the greatest news this morning, and it's so great that I need to sing about it. And I'm going to start this off, and I want you to accompany me, Lefty, okay?
Yes, Lefty, do it.
Okay.
It's a quick little song that you should know. I think we all know it happens once every year, and today is that day for Molly.
Oh yeah.
As we make one more trip around the sun, let's hit it. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Molly. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you guys. I was trying to get away with it and not be noticed, but thanks.
No.
Thanks.
It's your
special. It's funny. I look back as a birthday moment, and I'm able to think back. Okay, what was happening 10 years ago when the information in this book was fresh and exciting? And boy, oh boy, have things changed.
Oh my goodness. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. I was doing great today. I was feeling a little FOMO almost because I thought you two had like gathered together in person. And I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It never works out the way we want it to.
Yeah. Oh man, want to just take a second to say that I'm realizing that we've got some people that have been watching us on a consistent basis. I appreciate you all for coming out and basically watching us do what we love to do, which is learn, geek out, and then turn that camera on and start talking.
Yeah.
Turn that camera on and truly, I know I saw Lefty wrote something on social media the other day. It's about why we do this, and we really do it to help model and show you a way. And hopefully, I know every week I come away with something from this book club, and I hope that you out there watching, Katie Simpson, what's up? I know that you're watching us out there. We appreciate it, and glad that you're getting value out of this. And I'm excited about today.
Yeah. Lefty, how are you doing?
Honestly, I'm great. I had a pretty relaxing Easter long weekend because, as you guys know, I celebrate as of today.
Happy Easter!
Happy Easter! Orthodox, right?
Correct. So yeah, just it allowed me to just catch up on operation stuff and get a little bit of editing done. And also with this week's video coming out, it is not an educational video whatsoever, but it is. I did get inspiration from. I'm not going to say my favorite or one of my favorite YouTubers, but I will say that they definitely are in my top 10. Have you guys heard of Trevor Wallace before?
No.
So
and Googles.
So Trevor Wallace is a pretty popular YouTuber who just does gag videos, right?
Oh, okay.
Just like really funny, silly. You're just meant to just watch it and laugh kind of videos. I don't think.
I know him.
Yeah. So he doesn't really give anything of like importance besides just entertainment and humor. So I decided to model one of my videos tomorrow. I decided to model one of my videos around what he does and his framework. And I really hope it works out. But do you guys want a sneak peek of the title?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
The sneak peek of the title is dudes with videographer in their title.
Yes. Yes. You were hyping us on that last time. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So I have 3 more. I have 3 more shots to film, which I'm actually gonna film today. I got to go around to a few places, and it's gonna be. I mean, I personally think it's a funny one. I hope you guys think it's funny and relatable. But yeah. I think it's
that's
good.
Hilarious. That's hilarious. I have
forward to it.
A series coming out. Well, it's not coming out anytime soon. I wrote the scripts for it, and Lefty, we're going to make something beautiful out of it.
I hope. Fingers crossed.
I know you will. I just need your brilliance in creating the imagery for it. But basically, I was like, what if I took a popular style of content and then mashed it up completely differently, the same way you're talking about, finding inspiration from something that's out there and then applying it in a completely different context. So I'm like, I love nature videos and checking out the meerkats in their natural habitat. But what about if we applied that same concept to entrepreneurs and all the different styles of entrepreneurs? So I have these scripts for the narrator written out of see the meerkat or see the solopreneur in their natural habitat doing X, Y, and Z. And I'm so excited to film those. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. But my friends, let's dive into this.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm very excited. So we start out this chapter with something I definitely want to talk about because it has evolved. Remember, everyone watching, we are looking at this book because it was written 10 years ago. We're looking not only for those foundational pieces of information that are going to stay true throughout the decades as these grow. Last week, we talked about how we are still gathering so much great, insightful information from Dan Kennedy, the master of direct marketing, who has been rocking in this business long before the internet was even conceived, right? But his principles still lay true. So we're looking for those principles here in this book, but it's also quite amusing for us to find these things that Gary Vee hyped up so much and now have changed and evolved. Remember back to the last season, we looked at Daryl Eves' book, The YouTube Formula, where he showed us in one chapter the history and the evolution of YouTube and specifically the YouTube algorithm. So now our minds are running rampant around these algorithms and why they work, how they work, and how they've evolved to what they do now. So with all that in mind, round 3, storytelling on Facebook. We start out this chapter with a whole bunch of stats, and I'm interested. I didn't go out and look at some of these stats, but one thing it highlights here is that there are 680 million monthly users on Facebook mobile alone as of December 2012. So this book was written at a time, and he talks about it later on in this chapter, where Facebook is just getting into mobile in 2012, just starting to find that world. And now we know that the majority of users on Facebook are utilizing the service on their mobile phone. So the demographics have completely changed. But I wonder if this has changed. 1 out of every 5 page views in the United States is on Facebook. 1 in every 5. That's like what, 20% of all page views in the US are on Facebook. So I wonder if that's still true. And I wonder, what do you guys think?
It's probably even more now.
Yeah,
it's probably like 1 out of every 3.
Yeah, even with other social networks coming up, your ideal customer or your person is on Facebook. It's just inevitable. Can I point out, because I know you made some points about Facebook and that, but one thing that he said and that I read in the book recently that really kind of actually spurred me to do some research. It actually spurred me to do some research in a poll, in which he said in this book that if you look at people's home screen on their phone, I mean, the very first home screen, you have your phone there with you?
I sure do.
Let me grab my home screen.
The notification.
And he said, no, I'm talking about the phone screen when it's unlocked. He said that it shows you everything you need to know about what kind of content people value.
There's my home screen. There's my home screen unlocked.
Yeah, I'm talking about the one with your apps.
Oh, I know. I'm a minimalist, though.
You're a minimalist?
As you can tell, all my apps are at the bottom here, hidden away, which allows me to reduce my screen time so I don't actually feel the urge to open.
Can we point out that I have over 6,000 unread emails right now?
That bothers me so much, Molly.
It bothers me too.
Like the moment I get a notification, but it has to go. Like I can't. I hate the number. I have OCD with the number.
I've seen 16,000. So let's read what he wrote back in 2013 and see if it's still true today.
All right.
He says that the phone home screens will show you everything you need to know about what kind of content people value. In general, there are just 3 most popular app categories. And see if this is true. And with the apps that are not all of the apps, but the ones that are on your phone screen. One, can you guess one? Social networks.
Of course.
Social networks. That tells you that people are interested in other people.
Second, I have Messenger. That's on my top. I'm playing this like bingo.
And then what would you say is your most used app every week?
Oh, Facebook for sure.
YouTube.
I think mine is Facebook. I still spend probably between Facebook and YouTube. So there's where those numbers are still applicable. Facebook.
My top 3 would be Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Like that's what it would be in order. And then from there, we can go into like Instagram. I don't really consider Messenger an app. I just to me, it's just Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's literally that. It's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram.
Mine would be YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
I have one other app that I'm on all the time, and that's the
Oh, we can't say that on YouTube Live, Mark. Come on. No, I'm kidding. Put those apps away.
Here just a sample. I text my text messages, my SMS, and then I have my my Amazon Music.
Okay.
My music app is on my first, and then my camera app.
Yes.
The camera. Huh?
Speaking about cameras, guys, I actually went out and did my first photo shoot again for my branding in such a long time.
Photos of you?
Yeah, I don't ever really really bring photographers with me. I don't always get the opportunity to get like behind the scenes stuff just taking pictures. So it was really, really nice to like have someone with me yesterday and just, shoot all those awesome moments that I don't ever get to do myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. So I'm really excited for that.
That's awesome.
That is. I love watching stuff. Lastly, there were 3 social networks, entertainment, including games and music, and then the third is utility, maps, notepads, phones, organizers, and I looked at my app, and I actually did a poll inside of my group, and I asked my audience in my group. I said, "Show me your phone screen." So I looked at those phone screens, and I saw that the majority of people have social media and Facebook. It was like on everybody's. Facebook was one of those apps that's on everybody. You had a few between the other social media platforms, from Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Some people, that varies, but one that's constant across the board is Facebook. Yeah. So it is still the most widely used social media network out there, according to my unofficial poll.
Well, according to Hootsuite, which is one of the largest social content scheduling platforms, 70% of internet users are active on at least one Meta platform. So out of 5.3 billion global internet users, 3.71 billion use at least one Meta app every month. Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp. Many of them use more than just one, which is fantastic. Like, Facebook is the 7th most valuable brand in the world. Facebook.com is the 3rd most visited website in the world. Only Google and YouTube get more visits.
Wow. And this stat is from like recently. What's the date on that stat? Is it?
Let's see.
This chapter
was from January 2023.
Okay. Wow. How long do you guys believe that Facebook will continue this dominance? What's your
I think if you split Facebook and Meta up, I think Meta will have a lot more longevity because of their breadth of products. Facebook itself, I think, is going through changes and evolutions. So I don't think the Facebook product itself has the same longevity as like when you talk about Meta, you're talking about WhatsApp, which is one of the biggest used apps around the world, right?
Yeah, it is.
And so when you're looking at that context, they have enough data that they can create the next app that everyone's going to love. We know that. But yeah, so I think my bet is Meta's going to last a heck of a lot longer than Facebook itself.
I don't know. We'll see. That's I to be honest with you, I've never really been asked that question to even have it anywhere close to the top of my mind. So I mean, at this rate, like, who knows? There's obviously a lot of stuff happening right now, especially with us Canadians with that Bill C-11 or whatever it's called, the censorship social media bill that's trying to be passed. So it really depends on like what will actually get pushed through to Parliament that will affect certain regions of the world, right?
Yeah.
So for me, that's kind of how I measure things and look at things. There's no, I can't really say like a date, like, oh, I think 5 years from now Facebook's gonna tank, right? Like we don't know. I think we just have to pay attention to like who's running these operations and like what they want us or allow us to say and can't say. And then there's people that are going to agree with it. There's people that are going to disagree with it. And, those that disagree with it because they, let's say, want more freedom of speech to say whatever the hell they want, they're probably going to jump ship and go to another platform that allows them to do that.
Yeah.
And the ones that comply with community guidelines and don't really care to be like naughty little buggers, they're going to stick around and be on Facebook and all the platforms that censor everybody. I think that's how it's going to be personally.
Yeah. Very interesting.
For me, I don't care either or. Like, you know what I mean?
I saw a couple of news articles this week that talked about Meta itself and talked about Zuckerberg and talked about this was how headlines, sensational headlines are the ones that get you to click.
Absolutely.
So I see the sensational headline, but then I want to see what's the meat of it, right?
Yeah.
So the sensational headline was that Mark Zuckerberg has shiny object syndrome, and he has abandoned the metaverse for the next shiny object.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, look, I mean, I can understand why. Like, I mean, think of a social media platform founder and owner. Think of them like an actor playing a role. Okay. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine if you asked Robert Downey Jr., let's say you went to his dressing room and said, Mr. Jr., we would love for you to play Iron Man for another decade. The guy's probably going to go, are you feeling okay? So he doesn't want to spend 20 years of his life just on Iron Man. He wants to move on to other projects and do other things. Mark is in the same situation. He's put probably 15, 20 years of his life into one platform, which of course evolved into other platforms. But I think he's just ready to be casted for the next role.
I think it's necessary for him to stay current and not ignore everything that's going on around him. That will get you. You'll end up like Blockbuster. You'll end up like cab companies. You'll end up like Kodak. You have to pay attention to what's going on around you, right? So here's what they're talking about the investment that he made into the metaverse just a few months ago, even changing the name of Facebook to Meta and announcing this, we will be in the metaverse in 3 years. But I don't know if he had any idea that ChatGPT was going to actually come in and just suck up all the space online.
like a vacuum. It just
right?
Yep.
I think what should have happened, is it should have been Meta and then keep the umbrella companies below it. Keep Facebook, Instagram, this, like, you know what I mean? Instead of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever else they own, just all become Meta. You know what I mean? Meta should have just been the big conglomerate of the umbrella that hosts everything else.
Yeah.
And I think people wouldn't have had backlash. But I think the backlash really started when people started going from desktop to mobile, because one thing that Gary mentions in the book is the ad placement. Ad placement was essentially in the top right corner, and it still is if you guys are desktop users like I am primarily, or even laptop users. You still see the sponsored ads in the top right corner, right? But when mobile came into the picture, it literally eliminated that top right corner. And the only way you were able to even see an ad was literally in the feed.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, that's why people are like, oh my God, I'm so sick of ads. And right. If you're that sick of ads, you have two options. One, leave, get rid of the platform completely, or two, go back to using the desktop or the laptop version of Facebook. And now there'll just be a little section in the right corner that you don't ever have to really care about. But and then he brought up the stories, the selling with the stories. And you know what the best thing about it is because I do this all the time. I have zero shame like hard pitching in my stories.
I love it.
Zero. Because at the end of the day, in 23 hours, it's gone. I'm going to literally be like, yo, this is what I have. Buy it. It's this right now. I have 5 spots left, for example, blah, 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 blah. Call to action. Click the link below, and then boom. And then I know that, okay, if somebody wants to watch it, opt in, great. If not, that story is gone. It's not going to haunt me on my feed for the rest of my life. And then tomorrow I can go out and do another hard pitch. And then the next day do another hard pitch. And I feel like people are getting a lot of traction, or at least we're getting a lot of traction because of that. But then it also makes sense with what I said last week, because if you want your ad, now the sponsored story doesn't exactly exist on Facebook anymore. The sponsored ads have literally just been sponsored ads, because now when you create an ad for your ads manager for Facebook, which you think is just Facebook, no, it's actually going onto Instagram, it's going onto stories, it's going onto feeds, it's going into the marketplace at sometimes, and I think there's like another option as well. So if you want your ad to get the best traction ever, and I know this kind of breaks my heart a little bit, because I am a widescreen cinematographer. I shoot short films and feature films. But if you want to see the lowest conversions possible, film your ads in 16:9.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because think about what happens when you see a 16:9 image as a reel.
Okay.
You have all this space, and you tend to just swipe through because you're probably like, oh, look at this dummy, doesn't know how to use the dimensions properly, right? So you just automatically swipe away. The best dimensions for your ads is 4:5.
Okay. It's going to be
It's going to be a little longer. It doesn't fill up the entire screen, but it's going to be a little longer, which gives you a little bit of wiggle room. Now, this also gives you a ton of creativity, which a lot of people, in my opinion, have trouble with this, because we're so used to just creating the talking head where you're just like this. Hey guys, I want to give you 3 reasons
with the captions.
With the hey, I'm going to reveal something right now.
Boom.
So in order for this to work, in order for this type of this structure to work, you have to train yourself to film wider. Because you need to still see what's around you. You still need to create an environment. You still need to show people things. And oh my God forbid you get into post, or you give your editor the video, and they potentially need to zoom in somewhere, and you've given them no real estate to zoom in. It's like, hey, sorry, can you film that again? I don't care that you have 15-hour days, right? So that's what it ends up being. So you got to learn to just push back, and the best way to do it is you're going to have to get the proper lavalier mics. You're going to have to get some sort of audio recorders like I use. I actually put this on a boom stand, and I literally have it above me, and I just record everything that I need. And if I needed another type of recorder, I have another type of recorder right there. Audio is my baby. I love audio, but more than I love video. Like the things I can do with audio, I just love it.
So I want to bring you guys back to the first couple pages of this chapter because we start to unveil a little bit more about the original Facebook algorithm, the big
Yeah.
So I was so inspired when we were reading the YouTube formula from Daryl Leaves, where he showed us the step-by-step of how the YouTube algorithm evolved, how it became what it is, so that we can understand why it acts the way it does. And we can kind of think, if we were the YouTube team, how would we think our next step would be? And we can start having that forward-thinking mentality. And with Facebook, I've always wondered the same thing. So here we hear about EdgeRank.
Yeah.
EdgeRank. So it says here,
is that still around, by the way?
Good question. I'll look it up after.
Yeah.
So where should we say? In addition, users are, I'm going to read a fair amount for you guys. In addition, users are human. They age and they mature. They grow up, they break up, they have kids, they quit guitar, they take up fencing, or they go vegetarian. The user who became your fan in 2010 will not be the same fan in 2014. Yeah. But even though he's changed, he probably hasn't thought to go back and remove outdated information from his tastes and his preferences on Facebook. I know this is so true because I went through my own Facebook profile and was like, oh yeah, I remember adding those like 20 years ago. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So we're always going to follow more people and brands than we need to. We may not be watching this TV show anymore or following that actor, but we don't unfollow their pages. Yeah. As those bygone interests fade from our consciousness, we expect them to fade from our pages and our news feeds. Facebook knows this. Long ago, when college students were the biggest population on Facebook and their user pool was relatively small, people's news feeds were organized chronologically. We all remember this. Yes. But as the user base grew and grew and grew, Facebook had to figure out how to prevent user streams from getting clogged up with posts that they weren't interested in. Mm-hmm. It didn't want to be Twitter with its waterfall of content from every person, organization, brand, and business that the users ever expressed interest in. It wanted to curate our newsfeed and make sure the majority of what we saw was always important and relevant to us. To help mitigate the consequences of literal too much information, or TMI, Facebook finally settled on an algorithm called EdgeRank. Every interaction a person has with Facebook, from posting a status update or a photo to liking, sharing, or commenting, is called an edge. Yeah. And theoretically, every edge channels into a news stream. But not everyone who would see these edges actually does, because EdgeRank is consistently reading the algorithmic tea leaves to determine which edges are most interesting to the most number of people. Yes. It tracks all the engagements a user's own content receives, as well as engagement a user has with other people's brands. The more engagement a user has with a piece of content, the stronger EdgeRank believes that the user's interest will be in similar content, and it filters their news stream accordingly. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. Yeah. So on Facebook, the definition of great content is not content that makes the most sales, but the content that most people want to share with others.
Yes.
Boom.
This is something that he realized early on, and that I think we realized, is that, okay, as your friends list, maybe if I had 100 friends, I would see every single post. Mm-hmm. But when you get into the thousands of friends, you're not seeing every post from every friend unless you prioritize it that way. Yeah. So us as social media marketers using Facebook, that's what we want. We want, when we write up a piece of content, when we take time to create a piece of content, we want that piece of content seen by the most amount of people possible. Mm-hmm. Give us some free juice, right? I think he talks about that too, right? He talks about that. Give us some free juice. That's the best type of exposure, because if they see your content once, then that's going to say, hey, who is this Molly? Let me check into her. And then that leads to them following you. Oh, shoot, she's got a group. Huh. Let me check her out here. You can take advantage of that. And something that he said in the book, I want to just kind of piggyback on what you said, Molly, a little bit later on in page 35, where he says that content that entertains sees engagement. Content that sees engagement tells Facebook and the rest of the world that your customers care about your brand, so that when you finally do put out something that would directly benefit your bottom line, a coupon, an offer, or some other call to action, 4% of your community sees it instead of 0.5%.
Mm-hmm.
Have you experienced that?
I have. I mean, I've definitely had posts that don't do very well, and then I've had posts that are like, I can't stop the comments. Like it's wild, but it's all trial and error. It's all hit and miss, right? Like I don't get, Gary V says it in like a very like perfect world way. I'm hearing a buzzing. Where's that buzz? Is that me?
I don't hear a buzzing.
I hear it too.
You hear it too? Maybe
it stopped.
Gone.
It stopped.
It's your phone.
It's my mic.
Oh,
is it back?
It was.
It stopped.
It's gone now. Okay. Well, anyways, okay. Yeah, I think Gary V gives very perfect world situations, because he's like, if you see that a certain piece of content works, just do it again. But we've all seen it. Like we've all seen a piece of content work, done it again, and then we've gotten crickets, right? Yeah. So it's a very perfect world situation and scenario that he gives. But I mean, it does work. It's just a matter of like, I mean, you're not King Midas. Like not every like Gary is talking about this as if like you're King Midas, and the moment you put fingers to keyboard, you're gonna just turn it into gold. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not true. It's not gonna happen. You might hit gold, and then it might take you 20 posts to hit gold again. But and I know you're just like, oh my God, Lefty, that sounds like a lot of posts. But realistically, it's like if you're doing 3-4 posts a day, you can hit 20 posts by the end of the week, right? Yeah. So it's really not that far of a stretch than you think. But it's just a matter of like understanding that you're like, people still have other people that they want to indulge in, right? So it might have not been the fact that your audience might have not found Gold Post 2.0 interesting. It's just a matter of like, at the time that you put out Gold Post 2.0, they had 10 other pieces of nuggets that they had to watch, which unfortunately left your rank to go a little bit lower. Mark, you and I actually just got this 111 days of engagement and reach.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because
I think it's a participation trophy, in my opinion.
But when he wrote this book, Facebook didn't give us the detailed analytics that it does now, because now we can go in, and if you have a creator profile, you can see the impressions, you can see the engagement, you can see how many people have watched your video on your personal profile for 3 seconds or longer. And it's still, for me on Facebook, my posts that get the most engagement are always me just doing random stuff. Okay, or showing my life. going on every day, going to eat, going to a restaurant. Are those the posts that is that true for you guys too?
Sorry, ask the question again.
The post of mine on Facebook, because I was looking back through it to see, okay, which posts get the most engagement, because you'll see people make these two-step posts and then it's like but the posts that consistently get the most engagement. But then again, though, I do have a lot of my friends and family on as friends. By the way, my sister-in-law got her approvals from the state, and she's going to be launching that food truck here in the next week. Awesome.
Yes, dude. Oh, that's awesome.
I'm sorry. I'm getting off track, but she watched last week and she was like, and she commented, and she was like, oh, those two guys, where'd you find them from? I said, they're Canadian. They're, so I said,
get yourself a Canadian friend.
Yes. And she loved it and shared it. But I was just talking about the post. What posts do you find on my social media, on Facebook we're talking about? It's still me going out to restaurants, me doing something in my personal life.
Yeah, I think, well, think about it in this way, right? It's called social media, right? So people would rather like it, like if you really
wait, hold on. Are you trying to say that social media should be social?
I think so.
Whoa.
I think so. Like,
for all of you guys watching right now, because we see you watching right now. Hello. Let us know in the comments if you think social media as it is right now, if you feel that it is social enough. Or do you think it's just a whole pile of advertisements and it's kind of worn its way down? Let us know in the comments. And also let us know where you're tuning in from, because hello, not all of us are Canadian, Mark.
Yeah.
But my sister-in-law loves you too.
Oh, we love you. We love you. But I mean, to answer the question, it's just like I get a lot more traction when people when I'm putting something out of just like me doing my thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be like me at a restaurant, like you mentioned, but like if it's me like editing something and then I take like a screenshot of just where I'm at, like that will get more traction and more likes and comments and whatnot. Not necessarily shares, but it'll definitely get more likes and comments over me turning around and giving up this story, which is like 18 paragraphs, which let's stop the 18 paragraphs just so at the very end of the 18 paragraphs, you try and like pull me into a van to buy your course after you took the cap off my head or the bag. All right. Like the worst, I think we have to start condensing things. Okay. Like, I feel like there's a time and place for everything, right? Like I just hate when I'm looking at a post and this goes for even my friends. Like I'm gonna like shamelessly say this right now.
Go ahead.
If I see the see more button on your post and I click see more and it just goes, I'm just going to scroll. I'm honest to God. That's just me. I'm just going to scroll. But if I see like the see more button and it goes, I'll read it. I'll read it.
I think long form copy still has its place though.
I'm not saying it doesn't.
Yeah.
But everybody, like, I would rather you, even if you're not an expert, like literally, even if you're not an expert and you have no idea what you're doing, if you want to talk about something like that, I would rather you just pick up your phone and just record a video and put it out there and say the same exact jargon, right? Like that's kind of how I personally feel about it. Yes, Molly.
Okay, Lefty, this is like book club debates, remember? So I love it. I love it. So
Yes.
I write long form stories every once in a while.
That's okay.
As part of my content mix. And I know the second you press that button, you get a novel. 18 paragraphs, that's an introduction. Come on. So and it's surprising. And I do this because to me, sometimes it's just easier to write those stories in text than it is to share them in video, because I do a ton of video. So I'm trying to change up the mix of content. And I find that it is a very specific group who will comment. They will read all the way through. It's the same people. Like it's the same, maybe 20 or 30 people who are engaging in those long form pieces, that then I know how to engage with that group of people differently.
Exactly.
And it's then I'm like, okay, I read through the comments and I can see what parts of the story they found most interesting, which then I can break up and create short form videos for, which spread out more on like my shorts and YouTube content and stuff like that. But it's that mix. And it's funny to know that straight up, Lefty is one of my favorite people because he comments on tons of my stuff constantly. And it makes me feel great because he puts insightful comments. And I know full well now, when I write those long form contents, I am not going to expect Lefty to read them. I will know. The second I get to paragraph 18, Lefty's checking out. But that's okay, because I'm not trying to talk to Lefty in that comment.
You know what's funny about that, though?
Cool.
It lets you know your most engaged people in your audience. When they're or it also lets you know how well you're becoming with curiosity to keep people reading, to keep people engaged. So I would say, don't be afraid to put out long form content.
No, definitely not. I do it too.
But read the statistics and then use that feedback to get better every time. And
you know what it is, and here's a test. Here's a test, okay? And this is something that I do all the time, and I want to put it out to everybody else. If you feel like it's funny, I won't take. Think about how ass backwards my brain works, okay? I won't take 3 minutes to read your long form content, yet I will watch a 17-minute video.
When you're watching that 17-minute video, are you like watching it all 17 minutes?
Yes.
Interesting.
I'm not skipping. I'm not skimming through. If I find a topic interesting, I will watch the entire video. And in order for me to watch the video initially, I would have had to find interest in it.
Yeah. Because I find that the way that I watch content, now that I have my wonderful Bluetooth headphones, love them. I've been finding that I've been consuming a lot of more video content in the way that I would consume a podcast. I'm not watching it. I'm just listening. I'll put it on my computer. I'll play it. I'll wander around the house. I'll do some chores and stuff like that. I'll be interested in the audio. If I see the screen, I see the screen. If they're talking about something I need to look at, I'll walk over and look at it. But I'm really getting away from watching the videos just recently.
Videos and audio are much more passive.
Yes.
They're passive. When you pick up a book and you start to actually read, it takes effort.
Yeah,
it takes effort and a concentration of you can't multitask reading.
Exactly. And the second you stop reading the next word, it's no longer an active engagement. But if you're, I like how you say it's active versus passive, because with video, we're or audiobook, right? Last book you read as an audiobook, I read as a physical book. So in your case, if you decide to stop paying attention after that chapter, it's going to continue to talk to you. Whereas if I stop reading at that chapter, I don't gain any more information, which is really interesting to think of.
People are watching us right now while driving. So keep your hand on the wheels. Okay.
Yeah, see, and I don't even, and the funny thing is I don't even do audiobooks. I don't retain information that way.
But you can't read a book while driving, but you can.
But I won't read anything. I won't listen to anything while driving either. Because for me, I'm driving at that point. For me, that's like, because, okay, before I got into like any other larger piece of work, I was a driver. Okay. I literally was able to drive anything above like a DZ license, which a DZ license is for like 18-wheelers.
Wow.
Okay. So for me, the time on the road is for me, right? But the time on the road, when I say for me, is also the time for me where I get to eliminate everything. I'm on my phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I am on my computer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So why on earth would I want to keep doing things that require me to use my phone? I want to get away from work when I'm driving, even if it's for just that 30 minutes. You know what I mean? I would rather be in like peace and quiet, or listen to like a radio station, or my favorite playlist, or whatever I'm doing. But I will not listen to an audiobook because I'm already getting so much information in the course portals that I have, in the coaching, with my mentors, with YouTube, with everything else, that I just want to de-stress when I'm on the road. That's me. That's me personally. Also, I don't listen to audiobooks because I don't learn through audio. I learn through reading. That's how I've always been. It's hard for you to like sit there and tell me a bunch of information and then me go, oh yes, okay, perfect. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, like I have to see that it says here, content that entertains, sees engagement. I understand that. But if you said that to me, I probably would be like, I don't get it. Like, what do you mean by that? Can you elaborate? But that's just how I learn.
Molly, I have this, and I always tell people, I say to myself, these are the words that I repeat to myself. I've got an awesome memory.
So do I.
I have an excellent memory. I mean, I remember the most minute things. If you tell me something once, I will remember that. But here's the kicker. My memory sucks. But for me, when I tell
collective memory, my friend, you just remember what you want to remember.
I tell myself these things because it tends to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what I find. So when I hear something, it's like, boom, it just sticks right here. It sticks right here. But that saves me time. I think maybe that's what it does. It saves me time, because if I can just hear it and then remember it. Funny thing, I know someone who grew up with a learning disability, right? And they I think when they saw the words, they saw them backwards.
Dyslexia. Yeah.
Right. So what that did is that made them remember more. So they were lacking. You know how when someone has one skill, or they can't see as well. It strengthens another skill.
Correct.
Yeah. And if they had never had that disability, then they may not have had that strength in that.
Yeah.
So I've kind of nurtured that strength so that it could save me time.
Yeah.
save me time.
So
I am an experiential learner, and just as I am an experiential educator, so I need to take in the information. I write in my books because I need to have that tactile experience. And then I like to talk to people. I like to hash things out. I like to test things. I like to play and explore. So if I can't apply what I'm learning within a time frame around when I'm learning it, it might not stay. Or it might sit in a box in the very back of my brain and come back later on when I make some other kind of connection or tangential connection or something like that. But for me, it's about consuming the content, letting it percolate in my brain, and then sharing it in like a book club like this. This is why I love us.
Yes.
So speaking of that, like, how would you go about utilizing your stories now to build your business?
Oh, okay. So I'm really honing in on this entertainment gets engagement thing. And I'm trying to think outside of the box. I love what a lot of what we learned again in Daryl Eve's book, The YouTube Formula, where we talked about that connection to pop culture. And so I want to do more of that. So I pledge, today's my birthday, so for the next year, I'm going to share more stories about what's going on in my life. Like, this is my reality. This is my day to day, as well as, I'll just announce it here. I'm working on video essays. And ways of teaching and sharing and doing more investigative stuff that is going deeper into topics that I'm interested in, but presenting it in a way that's informative to other people in a fun way that hopefully we can get the conversation going.
I have an idea.
Yes, tell me.
Molly, we should just do, like, talking about pop culture and all that. We should just do like a gag music video. We'll Britney it up. We'll just get you all, and we'll get you all like in the uniform and everything, except the lyrics will be like, "Oops, I converted again."
Yes, let's do it. As long as I can wear the like schoolgirl outfit and then that red cat suit, that like leather cat suit she had. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, that wasn't that Slave? So I'm a slave to Facebook.
No, I'm a slave to the algorithm.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
So with me storytelling, I'll tell you how I tend to kind of learn is by watching what works on me. So and I'll go through my feed and I'll look for examples, and I think Gary Vee does a great job of showing a lot of examples in this chapter also. And here's the kind of thing that I found when I was going through my feed. I found my feed, at least my feed, looks like one big advertisement.
Yeah.
It looks like one big scroll, and right now I see this contrast of ads and social. I don't see much blending in. Do you see blending in, or do you see examples of someone that's doing it today? Not the examples in here, but someone that is blending what Gary Vee says. You know?
So in the book, he talks about if you were a boot company. Where is it?
I remember the boot company.
Boot company. So he's saying, like, instead of just talking about boots, instead talk about those issues that are tangential to the boot. So put up a poll that says, would you rather wear your boots in the summer or the winter? Talk about a sport that involves the boot. So show some pictures of hiking and climbing, and like looking at the boot as a key to lifestyle instead of just as a product that you can buy Vanna White style. I'm like, that's where, when Lefty does his lifestyle content, right? We've talked about this. Maybe it was Friday Night Live, but we talk about Lefty does this lifestyle posts and then calls to action. And so we take off the calls to action. His lifestyle posts are exactly what we've been talking about, those snippets of my day. Here, I'm shooting with this person today. Here, I'm waiting for a client. So here's a shot of me in my Tesla because I'm cool. And we're going to have a little chat about something, or here's a highlight of something that's happening. Here's a restaurant and a family gathering I'm at. Like, this is the lifestyle that you can have if you're part of what we do. And I think that's really, really
one day this will all be yours.
Here's back in television days, they had something that was called product placement, where a company could pay to have their soda can or their pizza joint. And we all know that Wayne's World made fun of that. Today, I think brands are relying more on those actual influencers to kind of product place their products.
Yeah.
But how do you do that when you're a service? Like how do you do that when you're a service, right? Like, no, like I think it's very hard to find like a funnel building influencer that for someone that for things that you do, or for me to find a video marketing influencer, right? Like,
no, they're there. They're everywhere.
Actually?
Oh, heck yeah. Most people are promoting things. when you see the little shorts and they're saying, I found 3 tools to do this.
Those are also products. Like okay, those are services, yes, but if I have to like have a subscription to something that's on a platform, to me that's a product. That's not a service, right? Like I'm talking about like I'm talking about somebody physically going like, if you need a sick video, you got to go to Lefty because he's going to do this and this and this. You don't find affiliate marketers or marketers.
Lefty, think about it this way. Think about the world of fitness and weight loss. So they're selling a goal, and they are the service that helps you get there. Yeah. And then the fitness model works really well because then there's also the tangential physical products that can help you get there. Correct. But look at what personal trainers are doing and how they're highlighting the pain points of their ideal customers. So it's really obvious in the fitness and weight loss industry. Like, Barbara wants to lose 5 pounds so that she can fit into her wedding dress. And Sammy
Barbara.
And Sammy wants
5 pounds.
Exactly. Sammy wants to be able to boost her energy so she can keep up with her grandkids. Yeah. So think about your ideal customer and what your service is. Think of yourself as an infomercial, like an overly exaggerated infomercial where people cannot function without your service. So what is that crazy exaggerated pit of despair that they are sitting in? And then what is it that you can help them achieve? So you could do tons of content around people, like clients of yours who were like, man, I was invisible online. I had no idea what was going on. I was trying, or I was drowning in creating the wrong kind of content.
And the hook is
you gave me an idea.
the hook is the result. Here's how my company generated 3,000 clients in 30 days.
Yeah, but you know what? Like,
and then you find out the process includes a video sales letter.
Yeah.
Right, but so I feel like my feed is just a bunch of that. Like want my blueprint to this. This is how I got that. Let me do this.
So break out of the box. And you're good at that. You're already doing that.
I know I'm already doing that. But I'm saying, sorry, go ahead. I don't want to
when you're doing this, like your parodies right now, that is a completely new hook that's going to grab people's attention. You have a very simple CTA at the end. Bam, you've broken the mold. You've changed the hook. Or let me bring it back to the book for a second.
Change the hook. Change the right hook.
Facebook exactly, to put it in boxing terms.
But of course, maybe what you're seeing, Lefty, is not enough jabbing.
And so he says to put it in boxing terms.
Facebook is all right hooks. And he said that in the book.
Yeah,
He said
to
it's
put
gonna
it in
become
boxing
that.
terms, you have to jab enough times to build a huge visibility. So the day you go to throw a right hook, the day you go to try and make a sale, say that post not particularly shareable, but the link takes people to your product, it will show up in the maximum number of news feeds. So as long as you're continuing to create content that is valuable, what people right now, what you're talking about is that people think that value is just let me give you tips. But instead, what you're seeing in reality on your feed, what we've already talked about today, is sometimes that value isn't tips. Sometimes that value is just, hey, here's a shot into my life. And here's just me connecting with people. And here are my personal thoughts. And like have that different hook. Here's some funny, engaging comedy about entrepreneurialism that, you know, we're all in that game. We all kind of feel for that. And grabbing them in a funny way is very funny and very aesthetically beautiful way, is what separates your vision and your I know you hate when I say this, but your superpower.
No, I'll take it.
Well, I'm getting you a cape.
And I can't wait I can't wait to see your next video, because I'm sure you're going to talk about that too, Lefty. Because the videographer,
which one, the parody one that I'm about to do?
Yes.
I'm gonna how can I I'm gonna really call out the I'm gonna call out I'm essentially calling out the douche influencers.
Yeah, the ones with videographer in their
dudes.
Can we do a series, Lefty, of like you're the videographer and I'll be the shitty influencer, and we'll just like go to like absurd places and be like, okay, no, take this picture. We have to make it look sexy. It is a garbage dump, but we gotta make it look good.
we could do anything you want.
I think that would be hilarious.
No, it's just there's like, look, ChatGPT, as amazing as it is, it's gonna ruin the internet.
You're one of those. You're the extremist.
I know. I use it. Hold on a second. I use it, and I also pay for Plus. Okay, but it will ruin the internet. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. This is my opinion. Okay. This doesn't mean that I'm correct. It doesn't mean that I'm incorrect. Yeah. But at the end of the day, one thing that all of the major marketers, all of them, Seth Godin, John Benson, all the massive guys out there in the world right now, this is far beyond prompts. If you are using ChatGPT and you're going to be a prompt master, you already lost. You might as well just stop using it. Also, John Benson, this came out of his mouth. I don't remember the exact wording, but I'm going to try and recite it to the best of my abilities.
Okay.
And he is also the creator and the inventor of the video sales letter. So I will listen to him with anything and everything that he says. But he pretty much says that you got to learn how to use this thing and not just take it at face value, copy paste and whatever. Mm-hmm. Okay. And 90% of the people are using it that way. He also mentioned that the way we feel like the machines are going to rise, there will come a point in time, I don't know when, he said this as well, the real creators will rise above again, because we will be able to all see through the crap.
Yeah.
We will all be able to see through the people that are using ChatGPT to write their scripts, to give them their hooks, to give them their stories, to give them everything. So by all means, have fun with it while you still can. But oh no, honey, you think you're taking my job? I'm not scared. I am not scared. Sorry. Not at all.
It's a tool. It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool. It's a tool. And that's how it should be used. It's not you. It's no substitute for you. Your personality, Lefty. If someone were to show AI of you, I know it's you because you have your unique story.
Yeah.
And you have, I love your storytelling ability, Molly, and I love your storytelling ability, Lefty. I mean, and that's what really gets people to come towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Is really learning about you personally, and that thing is, for lack of a better word, AI is soulless.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look, if you I know, and it has to do with Facebook because we're seeing it a lot on Facebook. I don't really see a lot of, if you're fooling me on LinkedIn using ChatGPT, then like bravo, because honest to God, like the LinkedIn posts, I feel like people on LinkedIn are a little bit more authentic than they are on Facebook when it comes to like not being so vocal or whatever about how they use ChatGPT. But look, guys, on Facebook, especially because we're talking about Facebook and we want to show up, we want to tell stories, we want to be authentic. Like, if you are ever feeling that you are in a position where it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to have a job tomorrow because of ChatGPT, then literally stop doing everything. Stop doing what you're doing. Stop posting, stop creating videos, take a week, take 2 weeks vacation and really just go back and like just redefine the offer, redefine what it is that you're really doing for people, and think of a way that you can still remain relevant, where you don't have to people automatically go into a panic when they think something bad is about to happen. All you got to do is just take a step back, look at all your pros, look at all your cons, mesh them together, and then come back to the world with something new. Now, if you absolutely feel like you have nothing to offer, then I'm sorry, but I think if you just open up the brain a little bit, you'll be able to find ways to stay relevant and be the Facebook master that you want to be.
Pick up a book, join us in the book club, feed this mind up here, feed your mind instead of using this computer to do the work for you. Learn how to, learn the structure behind it. Learn the structure behind storytelling. Learn the structure behind AIDA, attention, hook, telling a story. Learn it so that but when the computer goes down and when the computer takes over.
You know what? That's really good, Mark. That's really good because Alex Harmoji talks about this a lot, right? He always says, like, if I lost everything tomorrow, this is what I would do, right? But he knows he's already made $100 million. So like he knows how to make $100 million. Now, let's say if I was just, I don't know, let's say I'm a young kid or even I'm in my 30s and I'm just starting to be an entrepreneur. And I say, oh, I'm going to start like a writing business using ChatGPT. If you, let's say somehow, some way, fooled the market into telling your stories through ChatGPT, and then you had to come up with a post saying, if I lost everything tomorrow, this is what I would do. You don't have copywriting skills.
Yeah.
So you physically can't do it again. You're screwed at that point. You're always going to be jumping on the next best thing. And you're always going to be that person that's going to be trying to reinvent the wheel. So before even jumping into these types of tools, like learn how to use certain things first. Learn how to write, learn how to build a funnel, learn how to film and edit a video if that's what you want to do. Learn how to run a proper Facebook ads campaign, right? Learn those skills first to be able to then say, okay, I'm going to use AI as a tool to better my business, and then I can still do it again because I have the native skills here.
Yeah. AI is not perfect. And if you were to use AI and you really don't know some of the nuances behind it, you're going to be putting out content that could be wrong. You're going to be putting out stuff that could be wrong. You have to be able to go in there and just like understand, okay, ooh, wow, look, I need to change this, or let me move this, or wow, it gave a wrong statistic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
Some people just put it out there as if it's just like, okay, copy and paste. No, it in conjunction with the human as a tool. But yeah.
All right, my friends, it is time to start wrapping up. But today, or actually next week, we're going to have a little bit of a different format because today we dove into a giant chapter on Facebook. Giant chapter on Facebook that because we are all on Facebook and we're all using this platform. So we really wanted to get in depth. But next week, all three of us are going to be giving you guys our book reports. It's book report week next week.
Oh boy!
So we're each going to be covering a different chapter. We're going to be talking about Twitter and Pinterest and Tumblr, and whether or not they're still relevant, whether or not we can learn. Again, we're looking for those foundational pieces of information that can carry us through to today. So get ready, my friends, because you're going to get individual book reports from each of us about these platforms, and we're going to see what takes off. So that's it for today, my friends. Any closing words? I started with Mark, so let's start with Lefty this time.
We're gonna start with me this time. No, go.
No, Lefty, you close, then Mark, and then me, and then we'll end the episode.
Oh, okay. Closing remarks, guys. It's becoming difficult to get seen. Organic is still very much alive. I don't want anybody to think that they cannot make it on these platforms. Although Facebook will reward you if you're actually investing back into them. Use those boosts. Use do a brand awareness campaign. Do a like campaign. Do if you want, obviously there will be a little bit more expensive, but do a lead generation campaign. Feed these things. I'll give you an action. Since we're talking about stories today, I will give you guys a story to end this off quickly. Okay. I found my wife through online dating. And as I was scrolling through all the matches and all the people, I kept getting this ad pop up. And the ad pop up was for me to pay into their premium service. Right. So then at that point, I thought to myself, I go, well, it's only $20. I wonder what can happen in 30 days. Think about how many more people I will be exposed to. Right. So I decided to pay that $20. And automatically when I paid that $20, I was exposed to better matches. Why I was exposed to better matches is because I was put in a pool of people that also cared to invest in themselves the way that I care to invest in myself, despite the fact that it was only $20. And literally, it wasn't even 72 hours later that I stumbled across my wife's profile.
Oh, so nice.
Think of if you really have something that you want to say to your audience, don't be afraid to invest in yourself. If you think that you're getting that kind of traction, back it with some money, right? Pay for those, pay $50, $100, $200, but you got to just make sure that you're investing in the right type of campaign. Because if you're going into a lead generation campaign with $50, I'm sorry, you just gave Facebook free money. But if you're going for a like campaign or an engagement campaign, $50 to $100 can actually go a really, really, really long way. So those are my ending words. Invest in yourself. Don't be afraid to invest in the posts and the boosts and all that.
I love that. I love it.
Awesome. Well, jab, 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 jab. And there are some areas in this book where he actually says more than 3 jabs.
Yeah.
Jab 5 times. Jab, 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 jab. The jab sets you up for the hook.
Yeah.
And my final words are, I'm loving this book right now.
Yeah.
And in this chapter, Facebook, I'm the biggest thing that I took away from this chapter is that you have to come a little bit, a little bit unique and understand that the most important person out there is you out there watching us.
Right.
And that's the number one thing I think that we all realize that, and we appreciate all of you for listening to us week after week. And if yeah, week after week, that's the most important thing. We heard it in Daryl Eves's YouTube formula. Replace that word algorithm with the word people every time, and understand that there's people are coming to, people are giving you their time, and it's very much appreciated. Just 3 minutes, 4 minutes of your time watching, learning something it's the greatest gift that you can give. And I can't wait to get into Pinterest next week. That's going to be my chapter. So
I'm Twitter.
And I'm Tumblr.
Just be ready to learn about that platform and how you can increase your exposure there.
Ooh, I love it. Guys, thank you all for joining us, whether you're watching us live or on the replay. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. We will see you same bat time, same bat channel. And of course, you can always join us for Friday Night Lives, the best show on a Friday night on the internet. So my friends, have a fantastic day. Happy birthday to me. I love you all. Be excellent to each other.
To you. Happy
Happy birthday to you. Happy